Hello, all, and welcome back to Reset with Coach Lowe. I'm so excited to have you back on the show again today. And I wanted to talk to you about acceptance. Do you know what acceptance is? Acceptance is receiving something or someone. And when I thought about it from in the context of relationships, I thought about the marriage relationship and then the relationship with God and man. Um, when two people come together in marriage and they approach the podium to say their vows, they say things like, um, for they take you for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, um, to have and to hold, from this day forward. And so all of these different things is talking about how they have committed to fully accepting and embracing this relationship with this individual. Well, when we do that on that day, we have not lived the best of the times that we'll have together. And so down the line and through the days and the weeks and the months and the years, different things occur in the hearts of the couple that has married. And we don't always feel accepted by the one that we love. And so today, I just kind of want to tackle that idea because, on the contrary, we have a God that loves us and fully accepts us and who died while we were yet sinners. So when I think about the marriage relationship and I think about the relationship between us and God, they are very, very different, but they shouldn't be because Jesus already paid the price. He has already walked it out and he's been the example for us as it relates to being what we need to be in terms of accepting one another. The Bible commands us to love God with all that we are and then to love our neighbor as ourselves. It is just so amazing how sometimes we lose focus of what really matters and we start to judge people on what it is that they do or what it is that they wouldn't do or don't do or whatever the case may be. We judge them on their choices. And excuse me, we have all made some bad decisions. The Bible says that we have all sinned and fallen short of God's glory. And so, because we all have, that makes all of us imperfect people. So, it would behoove us to not be in a posture of judgment, but to just embrace people's their strengths and their weaknesses because we all possess them. And so just as much as I may need your full acceptance, regardless of maybe what it is that I've done to perhaps offend you, I will need that, and you likewise will need it at some point in time. And so today, I just want to kind of briefly unpack that, because we as humanity, we can get really caught up in not really understanding what it means to receive someone. We're quick to reject people because they've done this or they've been with this group of people or they've made this bad decision or you're not as successful as I am or whatever. And really, at the end of the day, if we, instead of comparing our lives one to another, we look at the example that Jesus has been for us, then none of us really have a right to brag about anything because it's impossible for us to do anything great without him. And so I don't mean for this to be a Bible class or a Bible study or anything, but journey, in my journey, I have been through a lot of different things, and it has been because of Christ that I have been able to forgive, that I have been able to walk through some of the toughest seasons in my life with tears coming down my face, but with hope in my heart because of who he is in my life, who he is and how big he lives in me and through me. And it's only by his grace, it's only by his example that I have found my own self able to accept people who are not easy to love. But I just believe that it's in realizing what Christ did for us while we were still in our mess, that and that he still accepted us, that he still died for us, he still found purpose in doing his part so that ultimately we could get to where we needed to be along the journey. So today I am um, encouraging you, wherever you find yourself in your relationship with others, be willing to ask the question of what is going on, you know, why is it that when I'm in your presence I feel rejected, or I feel set apart or thrown away? And a lot of the time these things happen with people that are family members and close friends, and we have to talk these things out. And so it is just, it's so important for us to pause at times before we jump to conclusions about people and where our relationships stand, and becoming attitudinal about different things. It's important for us to pause, think about how would Jesus handle it, and be willing to still accept the person, maybe not accept the offense, because we were not commanded to accept offenses, we were commanded to forgive them, you know. So we don't have to accept them, because usually offense is painful, that there was something that you said or did that hurt me. However, we must learn that we can't judge others on their actions and then ourselves on our good intent. So I want once again to encourage you to look to the example that Jesus has been in the Bible. um, Reset and renew your mind as it relates to acceptance in relationships. Relationships can be complicated. In our marriages, they can be complicated because our spouse may not always do things the way we do them, or they may not be great at communicating. And when we begin to have these breakdowns in our relationships, this is what causes us to kind of push back and guard our hearts and protect ourselves from one another. And we all want to feel accepted. So, what can we do to break some of those barriers? Is have those conversations. When it comes to our children, we can do likewise. Our children, they have their own paths, they have their own journeys to walk through, and we have to be realistic in the way that we think about our children. I am newly an empty nester, and my baby is out of the nest, and she is now at a university away from Texas, where I live. And so I've had to begin to say, okay, there are some things that I might not understand, but I want her to always know that there is nothing that she can do to keep me from loving her. But that is something that I have to continually reset my mind about, because my first response is in the flesh, and it's to become angry because she has made a decision, or even one of my sons, they could have made a decision that was not good and I didn't agree with it, but I never want them to think that it would stop me from embracing them and stop me from loving them, because it doesn't. um, and so I want to encourage you to do likewise. So reset, think it through, think about another way that you can do it. Reset your heart, check your heart to see what is going on in there. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and out of the heart flows the issues of life. And so when you think about these things, what is it that what is the message we're communicating to other people? Are we communicating that I embrace you, that I receive you, that I love you? Or are we saying, no, you need to go over there and I'm going to separate myself and I'm going to cut you off and you're not welcome because you did not do things the way that I thought you should? That is not the heart of God. And I will hope that that is not your heart. But if you find yourself there, don't self condemn, but go back to the one that loves you the most. Return back to the Lord. He loves you. He will help you to reset your heart, reset your mind, reset what you do, and get back to the ways that He would have you to do things. His will is His word. So stand on that. That is the one solid thing that has kept me moving my life in the right direction. Not perfect, but I have been able to do some good things. And I hope that you will too. Again, this is Coach Lowe, and I'm signing off. So reset your mind and know that you are fully accepted. God bless you and have a great week. Bye bye.